Nebraska dog walks Creighton at home. Final score 71-50. I'm Tanner McGrath. That's Subi. I have one single takeaway from this game. I said it in the preview. Because Nebraska plays that ultra compact rim post paint denial defense, Creighton would have to go into Nebraska's house and hit their jumpers. How did they respond? 65% three-point attempt rate, one of the highest you'll see in a game. They made 8 of their 33. They shot 24% from beyond the arc. They made 3 of their first 25. Nick Graves, 1 for 5. Austin Swartz and Isaac Trout, 4 for 15. Fedor Zujic, 1 for 4. Blake Harper, 0 for 2. Now, I will say this to Nebraska's credit. I don't think this was a complete luck box. Per synergy, Creighton created 29 catch and shoot jumpers. 7 were unguarded, 22 were guarded. Creighton made 3 of their 7 guarded ones. They shot 4 for 22 on guarded catch and shoot opportunities. And that's just an excellent job of Nebraska closing out from when they play conservative and then like kind of reach out, right? Other good things for Nebraska was, I mean, Mast had his usual electric night, of course. I was really wondering who would step up off the bounce against Creighton's drop defense. I thought Sam Hoiberg did a really good job. Dropped 15. He shot 4 for 6 from inside the arc. I think that's great. I mean, so we'll start with Nebraska. I'll ask you, like, they're 9-0. They have four Ken Pom top 100 wins. Do they ride this momentum into this huge Big Ten week against Wisconsin and Illinois?
No, those are just better teams. Those are just straight up better teams. I don't think so, but they'll be competitive, right? Nebraska, I think you mentioned it in the preview, longest win streak in the country.
13 now, 13.
Now, look, when I say no that quickly, that doesn't really mean anything, right? Like Wisconsin just came off of a great win. I mean, Marquette, say what you want about Marquette, but like Wisconsin is a sneaky good team because, and I say sneaky because everyone's enamored with Michigan State, Illinois, right? And then Illinois, rightfully so. Kylan Boswell's playing amazing. So that's a tough meat grinder to start if you're the Huskers. But this is why that 9-0 start is huge. And I might get laughs for it. It's okay. It's a bit outlandish saying that at some point they could be a top 25 team, the Huskers. But you have those two to kick off. What if you had like 3 or 4 losses at this juncture already? They don't.
Yeah.
Right. They're 9-0. And so obviously you have to play well in Big Ten play, but they've set themselves up nicely where, I don't know, if you finish a game or two or like around 500, you're in the conversation for an NCAA tournament bid for sure. But yeah, like when Nebraska, this is as good a start that you can really ask for. And they showed up. They showed up in their rivalry game. And I said in the preview, Tanner, I was like, Nebraska is just straight up a better team. And I don't care about the injuries because, again, they're missing Connor Essegian. So if everything's equal, I still think Nebraska is a better basketball team. And they damn near led by 30 points. Yeah. I don't think Creighton ever led. So those are more damning facts or reinforcing facts, I think, for my argument that heading into this, Nebraska is just a better basketball team. They doubled them up in the paint as well. So I'm glad you talked about the defense for the Huskers. On the offensive side, they just owned the paint against Creighton. But zigzagging back, I guess, to your great nugget about them closing out. You know, when you play, Tanner, when you see a team just off, which is what ghastly shooting performance from Creighton
from the jump.
After a little bit, you're like, you know what? You can either just sag off and dare them to shoot and be like, oh no, they missed. But usually defenses really ratchet it up even more. And they're like, dude, if I can really close out hard, I know for a fact they're missing. And like you said, Creighton just couldn't put the ball in the hoop in general. You talked about their field goal percentage, 31%, 24 from 3, only 59% from the line. Dude, like great Bill Russell said, the game's about a bucket. And Creighton could not get one. I mean, this was a comprehensive victory for the Huskers. Like I said, has to be reinforced. They were up by nearly 30 in this game. This was a butt whooping.
Yeah, and Nebraska, I didn't think they played exceptionally well, but they played their game. They played it smart, and Creighton just couldn't make any shots. But in the end, even if Creighton shoots closer to 30% from 3, they still lost by 21. I mean, who knows if they actually go in and actually steal this game if they make a few buckets, but you have to make your buckets against Nebraska. You have to make those jumpers or else you don't have a shot against the Huskers. And that's what makes them such a high variance team. You saw that in Big Ten play last year. One thing I really hope from Nebraska is that they used to be automatic at home. They home court advantage for Nebraska used to be so strong, and it kind of dropped off in the past few years. So I'm hoping that this win translates into, especially into Big Ten play, because if they win enough home games, they'll get into the NCAA tournament, I think. Now, Creighton, I don't know what to make of the Creighton performance just because you just have to hit your jumpers. You have to hit your jumpers against Nebraska or you don't have a shot. Now, was this all just bad luck? Did they just not make any shots, or did you see anything that's potentially emblematic of deeper issues with the Blue Jays?
Well, you got to give credit to Nebraska. Like, I
Mhm.
think we got to start there, and we did do that. A bit of it, though, yeah, I don't necessarily foresee Creighton shooting this poorly
Yeah.
in a lot of other games. It's very possible that they do in like another few games, right? But consistently, no, I don't think so, right? And I think the biggest anomaly here is that they only had one dude in double figures,
Yeah.
right? I think they had another guy. I forget. So Austin Swartz was the one that was in double figures. They had another guy whose name is now escaping me, finished with 9, but that was like the closest, right?
Mhm.
So when you only have one guy in double figures, I don't think that's necessarily the norm, especially for Greg McDermott and Creighton. That's the other thing, honestly, Tanner, right? Like there's a lot of teams where they're facing a fork in the road. Yes, this are early in the season, if you want to call it. I do trust McDermott. I trust him to turn this program around by the standards of which they've like started, like relative to how they've started. And it also helps that they're playing in a weak Big East. But I mean, there's certainly some things that Creighton needs to work on, especially, yes, offensively, but defensively as well. I think they just need to get used to playing with the rotations that they have. But at the end of the day, like I do trust McDermott to get it right. Like I wouldn't bury this team at all as it relates to like making an NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I mean, my take on the Blue Jays is that I think this offense in time will be electric. I love Josh Dix. I really like Owen Freeman. I think they have the pieces around them to be a really good offense. I think this defense is going to be really bad. And
Mm.
I think, on Sunday you saw a lot of the issues that it could be where they could, like you said, they got owned in the paint. They could get owned down low. Um, and then on offense, I mean, you're not going to score in the paint against Nebraska. They just shut it all off. Owen Freeman, 0 points. 0 points on on 3 shots. One shot from inside the arc. He only played 15 minutes, but
Mhm.
man, that's not good. So, any other takeaways from this one?
Shout out Berke Buchentel. I've been trying to get the pronunciation right for the last like
13
three
boards.
13 boards. Thank you,
Yeah.
Tanner. Yes, that's absolutely right. He is playing like a big dude, and he is a big dude. And I don't know, maybe my eyes were deceiving me, and maybe I'm mixing him up with the Diamara, who is also at UCLA. They started their careers at UCLA, but Buchentel has gotten beefy. Like he is
Yeah,
a
he's a big
big,
dude.
big. He can't shoot. He can't shoot anymore. He might have been able to stroke it a little bit at UCLA, but I don't know, man. Maybe he got corn fed in Nebraska. But 13 boards, I thought that was very impressive, very active. Like it was clear he was active, and maybe he fed off the crowd. But I wanted to give a shout out to Burke as well.
Yeah, and Sanford also dropped 13 on looks like 5 for 7, added 7 boards, and Nebraska didn't turn the ball over, only 8 times. So all in all, a pretty good victory for Nebraska. Sucks that Creighton couldn't make a shot and make this a game, but we're bullish on Nebraska. We're hopeful that Subi thinks they could jump into the top 25 at some point. I think that they'll be in the at least the bubble conversation. And this is a wonderful 9-0 start for the Huskers. So congrats, Nebraska fans.